Welcome to The Real CO.
I'm Cindy.
And I'm Olivia.
And we're here to talk about our truths,
our opinions,
and our perspective in the world of health.
Can't stop, won't stop. Where the brakes at? I give him that ditty bop. Like, take that, take that, take that, take that. I'ma put in work.
All right, we're back. This is episode number 3, and we're going to carry on our conversation about the macronutrients. Last week we talked about carbohydrates, fiber, and hydration, and now we're going to throw in some fats and protein. But before we go there, we have an icebreaker question. So, Cindy, what was the weirdest food that you ate when you were a child?
Butter. I know I cannot be alone. Y'all, please comment. Y'all ate some butter. My mom would be cooking in the kitchen and there'd be the stick of butter and I'd be like, now granted, I did tell you I was very overweight as a child. But, I mean, some of y'all had to have eaten butter too, right? Like, butter's good. Butter is so good. And then you had those weird Amish field trips in elementary school where you get to make your own butter.
Yeah, that was good.
And then we always made butter and put it on a saltine. Like, did you do the salt?
No,
Yeah, okay. What did y'all put it on? Because they only handed us the saltines. And then I was like, butter on a saltine. I loved butter.
I was more of a pickle and peanut butter kind of girl.
I like pickles and cheese.
No, I've never had that before.
Sharp cheddar. My mom introduced me to that. So weird.
I guess I'm going to have to try it now. So
yeah. Do you like, that your sharpness of cheddar?
Yeah, I like
with the dill of the pickle.
Okay.
It is so good. I'm gonna have to try with some peanut butter. I don't know about that,
it's
but
good.
sweet and
salty.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really good. So anyway,
that's a little. So tell us, comment please. Did you have peanut butter and pickles? Did you have cheese and pickles, or did you eat blocks of butter, or did you take the same Amish field trip and make butter in Shaker Village and put it on some saltines? I don't think the Shakers had saltines, but that is what we ate them on. So I'm just saying.
So it's actually her butter story fits right in with our fats topic today. So do you want to start with fats, or do you want to start with protein?
We'll start with fat because it really isn't good to sit around and eat fat. I'm just gonna say, like, and because of the whole, keto, pull the car over. No, I do not like putting coconut oil in coffee. I don't like that. It's not a food group.
No.
I know that you can strip it down and just use the oil, but bulletproof coffee, you need a carbohydrate before you lift.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. What is the rationale behind that, though? Is it just to
if you give your body fats, then instead of carbs, then it has to break down fat to use as energy.
Okay. Same with any calorie, right? Okay. I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, the problem is, that is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got on the health aspect. Like, my husband used to have heart disease. He doesn't anymore, praise the Lord, no prescriptions. But I still monitor fat for him, or try. And my rule of thumb that I teach people is, I got another story.
Hey, let's hear it. I love them.
Okay.
Yeah. Your stories are great. Yes.
Or odd. Either way, so the first time I took my husband to meet my grandmother. And my grandmother had several children, just tough woman. I think she married at 14, started having babies from her grandfather. It was just us there, and she was sitting there, and she was like, "I'm hungry. Are you hungry?" And Chris always is hungry. My husband's always hungry, but I was like, "I'm not hungry."
Oh.
I'm not hungry. And he's like, "No, I'm not hungry." And she's, "Well, let's go to the kitchen. I want to make a sandwich." And she gets a piece of bread. And I don't know how long this skillet of bacon grease has been on the stove.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, my mama did the same thing.
Are you serious?
Yes.
That's awesome. Makes a bacon grease sandwich and eats it. And and my husband isn't used to anything like that. Okay. And he was like, I don't understand what's happening right now. Like, I don't understand. And I'm just like, go with it. Go with it. It's okay. And so anyway, she did live to be 91. So I shouldn't knock it. Right? I mean, that's why I ate butter. Okay. Because my grandparents are eating, bacon fat sandwiches.
Yeah. I'm going to say it's the luck of the draw because that's the same with my family. I'm like, how are you guys still kicking?
That was bunny bread too. Like there ain't no fiber in that bread.
No.
So anyway, here's my rule of thumb for people for healthy fats. I tell people, okay, if it is liquid at room temperature and liquid in the fridge, it's a good fat. And technically that's your omega-3s, your polyunsaturated fats. Okay. And then if it is liquid at room temperature and maybe a little more solid in the fridge, that's your mono. That's like your olive oil. If you take an olive oil dressing and you accidentally put it in the fridge like I do, and sometimes my cell phone and whatever else ends up in the fridge sometimes, it gets cloudy, right? The olive oil will get cloudy. Yeah. So that's right. That's a mono. And then if it is solid at room temperature and solid in the fridge, that's a trans fat. That's going to be your coconut oil. That's going to be your butter. That's going to be your bacon grease. Mm-hmm. So that's your rule of thumb, in my opinion, when it comes to cooking oils and types of oils, because there's lots of fats. Mm-hmm. But we don't sit around eating coconut oil. Like there is a meme, and it's my favorite, and it's like, just put coconut oil on it. Like it is the fixer for everything. Oh, you got a wart, coconut oil. Oh, you got a little fungus, coconut oil. Oh, your hair is falling out because of COVID. Coconut oil. Like, stop it. Oh, you're pregnant. Let me rub some coconut oil on that. Like, what in the world? Oh, your husband fell down the stairs. Get some coconut oil. Like, that is not the way it's working, guys. Put the coconut oil back, please. Yes. Anyway, that was my rant. I don't even know what I was even supposed to be saying. Sorry. Go ahead.
You're fine. No, you were breaking down the different types of fat. And then were you going to talk about
the good, like taking
DH? Yeah,
yes, but I want you to talk about eating fat first.
Okay.
And then I'll break it down. Important? Why it is important.
Okay.
And then I guess when people eat too much of it, because we're not saying it's bad.
No.
We just don't really worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like we have to make sure that our macro of fat's at 90%.
Yeah.
So we just start eating it. I would love to. I just told you I like butter.
Yeah.
But,
So I think fat's number one. The way I do things, and you may do it a little bit differently, I don't know, but I take someone's calories, and I usually keep their fats around 25 to 30% for healthy hormone function.
I'm going to see where mine is. Go ahead.
Keep
talking.
So that's typically where I would keep somebody's, and the only reason is because
Go ahead. Say it. Pull the car over.
So I like for someone to prioritize protein, because what I find when I first start working with my patients or my clients, I especially women, their diets are super, super saturated in fats, low in protein, and low in carbohydrates. And it almost seems like, and they're wondering why they can't necessarily lose the weight. Well, it's because in your mind, you're not thinking about it from a calorie standpoint. You're looking at it from like, just the fats, carbs, and protein, and you're not quite understanding the calorie value of each one of those macronutrients. So when you tell me you can't lose weight or whatever, but you're eating 4 tablespoons of peanut butter, that could be a big reason why, is because it's a very small amount, but it's very calorie dense. So
I'm a 35, 35, 30 fat.
Are you?
I'm a 35 carbs, 35 protein, 30 fat.
Yeah. So that's.
But that puts me, and that's also not super training either. That's more maintenance.
Maintenance calories.
You did make me feel a little guilty about that, so I started lifting again today.
Did you?
Because I've been in maintenance mode for like a year.
Yeah.
Which you can do
once
you hit your goal. Yes.
Yeah.
But I told you I need new goals.
Yeah.
So it was good.
So what are you doing then differently? Are you going to up some of your calories or one of your groups?
I'm probably going to have to when because I'm doing all lower. I do lower 2 to 3 days, and then only upper, like back once and chest once. My legs are the things that keep me the leanest.
Yeah. Okay. I was just curious. So you have to let me know how that goes now.
I will. Yeah. So, but today's day 1.
Okay.
Day 1. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. So, wrong thing. So I have it at a 35, 35, 30. And it's really primarily because I do agree with carbs, and I usually do between, 40 and 60 grams of fiber a day. So my carbs are higher. Like sometimes they're higher than 140. Like this is just my range. You know, it's never the same. And then it's like easy protein for me is, you know, 130, 140. That's easy.
Yeah, that is easy for me too, but I feel like we've trained our brains to think that
Probably,
way.
yeah, because we do, like, because it is hard. Like when we, like, if you set somebody down, because we'll get to intermittent fasting at some point, but I'm a 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 times a meal a day, right? And then it's like, I need you to eat a protein in every sitting, and they're like, how do you do that? Oh my gosh, I don't even know. So I make them. If you want to know what I tell people, go on Pinterest and look up protein snacks. Go to Google or DuckDuckGo and go to and look up high protein snacks. You can go and I want you to like what you're eating, which is why we're sitting here eating this food for you. But most people don't know what a protein is, which is hard for me to understand.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, so at that point, it's like it'll give you all these lists, and then you know how to add them into your salad, how to add them into your snack, how to add them into your breakfast, and it's what you choose to eat, what you like to eat. But on average, people think it's easy to get in a lot of protein.
Yeah.
We just totally skip fat. Let's go back to fat. My bad.
Okay. No, you're fine.
My bad.
Well, so all I wanted to say was from a cellular standpoint, which is, this is the whole reason we focus a lot on nutrition, is because everything can boil down to the cellular level. So we're here trying to protect those cells. And in order to keep your cell walls really, really nice and strong, really healthy, you have to have fats, you have to have proteins.
That's all the cell is. It's trans fatty acid mixed with the protein.
Yep.
And when you're pregnant, that's what you're creating in your belly. And when you have surgery, that's what's going to cause you to heal. And every day you're aging. Okay? And I usually tell people there is 5 groups of people that need more protein. The first one, those that want to lose body fat.
Yeah.
Okay? The second one is those that have blood sugar issues.
Yes.
Those that are under high amounts of stress. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then elderly. And those that are chronically ill. Because have you ever seen that's why they made Ensure, because they're not healing. They bruise, it doesn't heal.
Yep. Muscle wasting.
Yes.
Yeah, they're breaking down. Yep.
And of course, athletes on my 5th one.
Yep.
There is no recommended daily allowance. I try to tell people that was created in like World War II. So teeth didn't fall out. Like, so you've got to look at yourself as an individual. What do you need? And protein, and to me, that sums up almost everybody. Yeah. If you want to heal, or you want your bones to repair, or you don't want to have aging saggy skin, and everybody's like, oh, we just have to do lots of I'm getting so sick
collagen.
God, I'm so getting tired of it. Not that I don't do I have collagen in my thing, but collagen is not a make all, be all, save all. Yeah. It's not even a it's got 8 essential aminos, but it doesn't even have all 9. Yeah. So then at that point, it's good. It's going to help heal tissue lining. It's good for connective tissue, or even if you've got a leaky gut, a little bit of repair there. As far as your skin, eat protein.
Exactly.
Protein is what tightens everything up.
It does.
It raises your immune system.
It does. And it boils down to that cellular levels. Our cells are meant to grow, divide, and replicate. If they are not strong and healthy, they cannot do that. So then
they'll mutate.
They mutate, and they become, there's a thing, I want you guys to look it up, it's called cell senescence. But it's where your cells literally just arrest. Like they're just there taking up space. They're not doing what they need to do. And there's a lot of things that can contribute to that, insulin resistance and everything else. But we want to keep our cells under a little bit of stress. But the only way they're going to handle that stress is if we're nourishing them properly, and they can carry out their jobs to keep us strong and healthy. So
yes, 100%. And all you pregnant moms, you're creating protein, so eat it. Yeah. So I would tell my daughter-in-law, you're creating a protein. You have to eat it.
Did you know? I mean, this makes me sick. I'm gonna dog the FDA for just a second.
Say, are we pulling the car?
We're pulling the car over.
Bring
if
it.
You look up the protein requirement and recommendation from the FDA, you know what it is? 60 grams, like all the way across the board. 60 grams, it doesn't take into account if you're a female, male, age, nothing.
Do you know what I tell people? What my word is? You need at least 75 grams a day if you're lethargic.
Exactly.
If you're never going to move.
Lay in a hospital bed and survive.
75 to just be lethargic.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
Good luck with that, everybody. Yeah. Well, if we move on to fats, did you know that the number 1 contributor to postpartum is not taking a prenatal omega, because the baby at the last development stages is pulling off of the mom's DHA and EPA in the brain to develop theirs. So then afterwards, those hormones crash.
Wow. Oh,
How amazing is that?
It is. Yeah.
So obviously we need a good omega, and I don't believe we can eat enough responsibly. How's that? I don't believe we can eat enough responsibly to not have to take a supplement when it comes to fats. And I know we've been kind of back and forth with proteins and fats, but we're back on fats. So that's just the way it is. So most of you all know that I believe you need to take a cold water omega that has, write this down, DHA and EPA, because there are 3 types of omega-3s: DHA, EPA, and ALA. I am not a fan of ALA. ALA will, I don't care what you've been told, will not transfer over to DHA and EPA. It's not going to do it. And ALA is a vegan form. So what that means is that's your flax oil. And everybody's like, oh, I take a flax oil. Why?
Yeah.
Please don't do that. Plus, it's a high phytoestrogen.
Yes, thank you. Oh, took the words right out of my mouth.
It's going to lead to some estrogen
Yep.
growth. I don't like flax oil at all. I really don't like a lot of flax. Most of you all know that. So you need to look at EPA and DHA. You don't just want to buy a fish oil. You need to look at DHA and EPA, and you want to make sure it's clean. And and usually I recommend that you have, at a minute amount, 1,000 milligrams a day. And a lot of times I take about 2,000. That's my brain. That's my vision. That's my nervous system. That's lubrication of my joints. And if you look at it, you need to find one for your children, because we have a ton of sensory processing. We have a ton of ADD, ADHD, all of this, which might be another topic. But they need that for brain development. So I tell people from conception to death, there's a few supplements you have to have, and an omega is one, because we just don't get the right forms that we need. Now, if you do have a blood clotting disorder, I would say that you would need to keep it between 500 and 1,000 milligrams. But most people, it's an anti-inflammatory. It is something, I don't understand why they tell you.
I'll tell you.
Okay, yes, I need to understand this, because I get so upset and I can't argue.
Okay, so in the medical community, there was this big with fish oil, oh, you shouldn't take it, it's going to raise your LDL cholesterol. Okay, why is that a problem if you don't have inflammation? Inflammation is the root of all evils.
It is. And if you notice, DHA and EPA are an anti-inflammatory.
Yeah.
They literally reduce your inflammation. So they're not going, that's why they don't raise your LDL, they raise your HDL.
Yeah.
They raise your good cholesterol, but a lot of times people don't sit and look at the difference. They just said, oh, your total cholesterol is high. But if it's your good cholesterol that's high, that's your artery patching, healing cholesterol, good, right? So maybe we just need to look at some of that. And honestly, I'm not a super big fan of, what I think really hurts people genuinely is the fat and the carb together.
Okay.
Without the protein.
Okay.
Like if you did a white noodle and like if you did Alfredo.
Okay.
So white sauce with a white pasta. So there's all it is fat and sugar. Do you see? We got to have the protein. You got to have the fiber, because you've got to regulate. The fiber is going to pull out the bad fat and hold on to it. And it's also going to regulate the simple sugars. The protein's going to digest slower. Therefore, your insulin's not going to spike.
Again.
Help me.
Yeah, and that would help with, well, then that would help with it goes back down to the inflammation again too. So we're just trying to keep those, the endothelial lining of all of your arteries, your veins, everything nice and smooth. And the only way to do that, I think, is just a balance of your carbs, fats, and protein all together. So
yes.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No.
And oh, well, we'll talk about this another topic, but then just also stress mitigation too, because that can also cause some of that inflammation too.
Oh my gosh. Okay. If we're just going to throw this out there, this would be a good topic. Did I already tell you this? I believe there is like 4 sources of inflammation.
Okay. Let's hear them, because since we're
totally unscripted here.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, this is what's fun. We have not sat down and had conversations about any of this. Okay. So the first cause of inflammation would be injury. It would be a fall down the stairs or a car wreck.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's one. The other cause of inflammation in the body would be environmental, what you are exposed to. Okay. So that would be toxins. That would be your job. Like all of the environmental toxins, what you're exposed to can cause inflammation on the body. The other one would be deficiencies in the body. So whether it's food, nutrients, whatever, it causes an inflammatory response. And the fourth one is stress.
Yeah, stress.
It causes a massive amount of inflammation, which can cause IBS, ulcers, whether people want to admit it or not. Like, I got an ulcer.
Yep.
From stress, not from anything else. So she didn't want to admit it, but once she tested me for everything, she was like, I'm like, it's okay, I've been stressing. She goes, I can't say that. It's okay. I can. It's okay. You've ruled everything out. It's all good. I figured I was stressing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I feel like I always do this. There was something on.
But I was talking about, okay.
Yes.
So let's talk about another hot topic real fast. The reason that I want you taking so much omega-3 is for myocardia.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
Heart inflammation that we're seeing such a rise in.
We're allowed to say it.
I'm not going to say where it's coming from, but it's actually on the CDC website now. So, you know it's pretty big.
Yeah, and if you know us.
We might pull that car over.
You already know.
But there's a massive amount of it, and it can't be, and you can't deny it. They're now saying that if you're under, 35, that you do not need to do any type of sports after you've been, had that. Mm-hmm. You don't need to do sports for, I think it was like 6 months, and then you need an echocardiogram and something else. Because so many people don't get over heart inflammation. They don't get over the myocardia.
Yeah.
So you want to help with that. If you're worried about that, if you've noticed some things happening, I am a big believer in, taking care of yourself, especially if you've had to, whether it's your job or your freedom said, I want to. Please take 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams of omega. Please. Yeah. It is so important for your heart. It's going to reduce your risk of heart disease. It's going to reduce your risk of inflammation of your heart. It's going to help repair it. There's a couple other things that I would recommend for that. Reach out to us about it. But right now we're just talking about fat. I do not recommend you go around eating butter. So if that's you, don't eat the butter. Don't eat the coconut oil. Don't go to the Italian restaurant and dip your bread in that. It's so good, in the olive oil when they do the little seasoning and you dip that.
Can we leave peanut butter on the list though? Because I can't give that one away.
Oh, I love peanut butter. Peanut butter is actually a monounsaturated fat.
Oh, okay.
So you're good.
Safe.
Nut butters are fun.
Okay.
You're not in saturated fat zone. That's why. Chick-fil-A, send us some coupons. That's why Chick-fil-A is a better option because they use peanut oil. They don't use a saturated fat. They use a, polymonounsaturated fat blend. Okay. Safflower oil for baking, grapeseed oil, avocado oil. They're acidic because it's a healthy fat. It just people eat too many avocados, so it's not bad for you. Olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. Those are probably some of my favorites. For baking, and you need to look if you're not familiar with it. Some are for high temperature, some are for lower temperature, but they're fantastic. And the job of omega-3s is to kind of help actually lower your LDL cholesterol, and the job of monounsaturated fat is to raise your HDL, your happy cholesterol. Yeah. So the two fats work really well together. One lowers the bad and one raises the good. It's just we don't need to eat a lot. Like you sit around and eat it.
Right. Yeah.
My opinion. Unless you're like butter.
Yeah. I was just saying.
I would like to sit around and eat it.
My father-in-law right now is listening to this thinking, cha-ching. He was a butter eater.
Well, my mom used to have like 3 fry daddies on her counter. Everything left over got fried. The tomatoes got fried. We had potato cakes got fried. The pork chops were fried. My husband, when he first came up, he didn't realize that you could actually fry chicken. They always got it from Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Oh my God.
And he's from Arkansas. So we're the home. Like when I go places, when we go out of the country, people would always be like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "Kentucky Fried Chicken."
Yes,
And they'd be like, "Kentucky Fried Chicken."
They know it, yeah.
But my mom made fried chicken, and he was like, "You can really do that?" I'm like, where are you
He's
from? Like, Arkansas is still the South. Like, I wouldn't even know nobody's frying chicken there.
Bacon grease sandwiches.
And bacon grease.
Fried chicken. What is this? Slice of heaven he just entered.
He had no idea what he was walking into. No idea. I trapped him, like I married him before he met my family. That's what you have to do. And it worked because, 25 years.
How long? Okay, so this is off subject, but how long were you all together before you got married?
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, let's.
Okay, so I met him in April of 1996. I moved to Little Rock, Arkansas of July of 1996. We got married and moved back in January of 1997.
That is hilarious. So, Chad and I, same thing. We met, well, I knew him in high school, but then we started dating in March. I got pregnant 2 months later.
Mine was a little longer, but see.
Yes. And so we got married in September. So I was like 16 weeks pregnant at our wedding.
I was
12 years going strong, baby.
Let me see. Okay, so we got engaged on Thanksgiving. It's like, woohoo, it's engaged. We're going to get married. Dude, we had 30 days to take that ring back. And so we found out I was pregnant like right before Christmas. I was like, we are taking that back. I'm not paying for that.
Yeah.
Like you were supposed to pay for that. We were going to have some time, but now I got to pay for that and this and that's not happening. So we took that ring back, and on our first anniversary, he got me a new one. But, I tell people and this is what I tell people, I don't really remember a lot about the wedding. It was kind of, a lot was
the same
thrown together and people did stuff. And I mean, that's my biggest piece of advice to anyone. It's not the wedding, it's the marriage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? It is not the wedding. It is the marriage. That's where you want your time. That's where you want your effort. That's the place you want to really put everything into, is not what people see. What's going to make you happy is the things people don't see.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that was off topic.
It was, but hey,
Icebreaker.
I was going to say, now you know us, so.
Yep, now you know. So let's talk about this.
Gas station goodie. So
Yes.
we don't actually have a gas station goodie this time, but we we want to challenge you to find one for us. So why don't you
go to the gas station
or grocery store
or the grocery store and snap a picture?
Yes.
What is something that you didn't want to pay $4 for, but it looked good and you wanted to try it? Or maybe you just want to know if it was really something worth getting. Maybe the label, because we all know labels lie.
Yeah.
It says it's healthy, but is it really? Take that picture and send it to us via Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Find us on Instagram in our messages. In our messages. The real C.O_podcast. Find us there, like us, follow us, send us a message, and we will make sure that we have that for you all. And then also find us on Facebook, the real C.O_podcast, and send it to us via Messenger that way, or and then comment on YouTube. Like if you're watching us on YouTube, we want to know where you're from, even if you're from our backyard.
Yes.
Like we just want to know because, it matters. The topics that we are talking about are not to help us.
No. Yeah, exactly.
It's about you, and it's about who you know and who is struggling. And so just know that, just let us know where you're watching from. And anything else?
I don't know. No, I guess not. Comment, share.
Like
it. We'll get that flow down eventually.
We'll get the flow down. Comment, share, and like. And then let us know your opinion on these topics. I know that we could pull the car over in a lot of different directions. And like I said, usually hopefully you're only offended maybe once, and then the other times you're not. But it is done out of love. And no matter where you're standing It's our truths, our opinions, and our perspective, and you don't have to agree with any of it. We are just throwing it out there. So technically, we don't have to answer your questions in person. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But yeah, let us know. And that's it.
Topics, send them our way.
Send them our way. All topics welcome.
Can't stop, won't stop. Where the brakes at? I give him that ditty bop. Like, take that, take that, take that, take that. I'ma put in